The Hornby Mk3 Intercity range has long been the standard for filling out the coaching stock to go with their range of Class 43 HSTs. In the face of recent competition, are their current range of Intercity Mk3s still a good buy? Let's find out. Hi, thanks for joining today's video. What we're going to do today is take a close look at the 4 different coach types that make up the current Intercity Mk3 range from Hornby. We'll do a short running session to get a feel for their performance on the track and how they look like on a real layout, and then we'll do a final summary section and a final recommendation. So first up, we've got the R4851 Restaurant First Buffet, or TRFB abbreviation, and this is coach number 40711. This weighs in at 156 grams, which actually makes it the lightest coach of the 4 coaches we're going to take a look at. I think the livery and the overall look and feel of the coach is in line with all the others, and it's a very impressive looking coach. I think these are very attractive looking coaches, and they are very representative of the executive Swallow livery. Next up, we have the R4852 TGS, the trailer guard second. Coach number 44063. This is actually the heaviest of the coaches, weighing in at 177 grams, and it isn't actually noticeably heavier when you do lift up these coaches. This is the one that actually probably has the best feel to it, and has got that additional weight. I'm not quite sure of the significance behind that, but it is the heaviest of the 4 coaches. A pointer here is that we do get optional buffers with these coaches, so it comes in the detailing kit. And we also get optional couplers, so you get 2 different options, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on because I think that's actually kind of important. Next up, we have the R4853 First Open, coach number 41099. This is weighing in at 158 grams, which is pretty well the average for the coaches apart from the TGS coach. And again, a very attractive looking coach, a very nice looking livery, and a very prototypical livery, so the paint work on this particular livery, on the livery of all of these coaches, is I think pretty representative of the real life prototype. And finally we come to R4854 TSO, or Tour Second Open, coach number 41099. Weighing in again at 158 grams, which is the kind of average weight for these coaches. This coach is very difficult to get these days. Obviously, in terms of building out a rake, it would be the most popular coach, and these are actually quite challenging to find in the marketplace or through any of the regular channels, where you will find the other 3 coach types, in particular the restaurant buffet and the trailer guard. They seem to be reasonably still quite common. Again, a very attractive looking coach, and you can imagine having quite a nice rake of these particular coaches. And again, giving a look, kind of a 360 degree view of this particular coach as well, so you get a feel for it. Okay, now we're going to go through our running session, and so what we have here is the R4652 TTS Class 43 from Hornby, and we're running with a 4-car rake at the moment of the Mk3 coaches. And I kind of split this into 2, one at a relatively low speed, which we're just seeing right now, and then we'll go to a kind of medium speed, and then we'll do a little bit of a run at the end at kind of high speed. Not actually at the very top speed. I don't actually have footage for as fast as this can possibly go. You can go very fast with these HSTs. They do run very fast. So we'll keep this going here. So I think the first thing to notice is these are real smooth runners. So I think of all the Hornby coaches I think I have any experience with, these are probably the smoothest, and that's across their range of Mark II coaches and previous Mk3s that I would have had. These coaches are extremely smooth. They are relatively light, so if you do build up a long rake, that shouldn't be too big an issue, because the drag on the locomotives won't be too bad. And they are light, as I said, and they are they run really well on the track, so the resistance to movement is really, really low. So the drag in terms of the pull that the engine has to give is pretty low. I think they also look very good, and the livery does match 100% with the locomotives, and I think that's a major plus point for these particular coaches versus perhaps their Oxford Rail rivals, for example, which would have a lighter grey on the body, which would not be matching and wouldn't actually be prototypical either. Now I will actually add a link in the description to some real life footage of the locomotive and the coaches, so you can actually take a look at what these things look in real life. And I think this particular combination that Hornby have here, I think is very prototypical. So I think I give credit to Hornby for that, and I think it is very representative of what you would have seen on the railways when all of these were running live. So again, we're kind of getting into the medium speed here now, and we'll speed things up to the higher speed. I've had absolutely no running problems with these coaches through the time I've had them, and as I said, extremely smooth, and as you go faster they just seem to get smoother, so they really are a pleasure to run with, and I would rate them as probably the best running Hornby coaches I have at the moment. Now I know there's new ranges of Mark 3s coming out, which I'm going to look forward to testing some of those, but right now these are the best Mark 3s I have. I would have had older Hornby ones, I would have had leaner Mark 3s, and they really wouldn't be as smooth and smooth runners as these. They would have a greater level of drag on the locomotive as well, which isn't that good. But I think these look good and they perform really well. And we'll give it one last turn here. And that was really smooth. Okay, let's get to the summary of what we've been looking at today. So these are the Hornby Mark III Intercity coaches in the pristine executive / Swallow livery, as it's known. We looked at the 4 different variants and the different weights for those different coaches. They do come with 2 sets of couplers, and the set that you'll see in most of the photographs is the set I've been using. It's the kind of the hooped type coupler, similar to the older Lima format of coupler, and you'll also see that on some DMUs from Bachmann. And I like that type of coupler. I think it gives a better connection than the typical tension lock coupler that we use today, particularly when you're in a reverse. If you're actually reversing your train and actually pushing against the coaches, that coupler actually gives you a better mechanical sort of connection between the two, and also gives you a better connection even in a pulling mode, particularly when you're running at high speed and you don't want your coaches to run the risk of coming loose or whatever and causing a collision problem. So I like those couplers, and they're the ones that I'm actually using. It is based on the Era 8 sectorization 83 to 94, but you'll still see these. Obviously there are still representative prototype versions of these that can be seen. The selling price, I think the original retail selling price for these was £34.99. You will see them ranging from the £31.50, £32 up to about £40 from some traders. You'll tend to pay that higher price for the TSO, which isn't that common anymore. Tend to be able to get the TGS, the restaurant buffet, and the first open. But the TSO, unfortunately, because of the demands for that in building a rake, there's not as many of those, and that has been a problem with some of the Hornby rolling stock in the past, not having enough of the TSO in particular. Okay, now let's take a look at the scoring for these coaches. So in terms of running performance, I'm giving these actually a 5-star. I find it very hard to fault them. I've given them a good level of running, and I find them really smooth, very low friction. The coaches are a little bit on the light side, which I don't really like. I do like to have a slightly heavier coach. And if you were running coach lighting, for example, it does benefit to have a bit of extra weight to get the contact on the wheels for your lighting. But in kind of normal mode, in terms of running performance, I can't fault them. They do run really well against all sorts of obstacles on your tracks. And I've never had any derailment or any problems with them, and they run very well at high speed, and you'll be able to run very large rakes with this type of coach, given it's quite light and there's a very low friction coefficient there. So running performance is really is as good as you'll get, and these are probably some of the best running coaches I have, even including any in my Bachmann stock and my Murphy model stock, some of which would be very good as well. Appearance and detail, I'm giving it a 4-star. The colour matching is very good, and overall these coaches do look good. There's extra detail you'll get on, say, the Oxford Rail models. They do have extra added detail, and they would have a detailing kit. That's not the case here, and so it's pretty basic. The only extras you get is the buffers. There's optional buffers. Typically these coaches didn't have buffers installed, but you do get them if you do wish to install them. So limited extras, whereas you would get, I think, a little bit more on some of the alternatives. Pricing is a 4-star. I think the price is actually pretty good for a Mark III coach. The Oxford Rail coaches do discount at a lower price, so you can pick those up for around £29–30. So that's a plus for them. And overall, I'm giving this a 4-star rating, and it is a recommended. I do recommend these coaches. I don't have any problems with them. Let's say you could probably add some more in the detail department, as Oxford have done, but it's hard to match the fact that these do match the locomotive colour very well, and they're excellent runners. So I would say they're still the definitive stock for if you're running with the Hornby HST in this livery. This is the best stock for you. It just gives you the best colour match. It's the most prototypical, and they are excellent runners, as I say. It's just a pity right now that the TSO seems to be hard to find. These are probably not in production anymore, so it's whatever is out there is what's there. So it would be nice if perhaps if Hornby were to do another run. Certainly if they produce more TSOs as well, and hopefully that's something they'll do on their future releases of Mark III coaches. So overall, I'm very pleased with these coaches. I think the combination with the Hornby HST and with the TTS sound gives you a very nice combination. I do like the alternative couplers. I think they work well for a high-speed train, and overall a very good package at a reasonable price. So interested to get your own feedback. Have you used these coaches? Have you used the Oxford coaches, and how do you think they run? Please let us know in the comments. I do have a couple of links in the description. One to, as I said, some actual real-life footage of these particular rolling stock in a HST configuration, so you can take a look at that and you can make up your own mind regarding the colour match. And I've also got a link to a full running session with the locomotive. I've only a part of the running session in this particular video, so you can take a full look at a full running session as well. Please enjoy that. Thanks again for joining today's video. I hope you find these videos of use and interesting. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I will be having more of these. I do intend to do a review of the upcoming LNER Virgin coaches from Hornby. I am interested in those because I want to match them with my existing Virgin HST. So we'll be taking a look at those in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, when they get launched. Okay, bye for now.